Alright, welcome back. This is the second part. I'm going to go up to building a Sorc Tower, Sorcerer's Tower that will let me refine resources later on. First, I'm just going to be building about 20 forester huts and then also 20 stone mines, trying to get our resources up. Right now in the alpha it's sped up by 10 times, so these numbers in live version of Crown of the Gods will not be the same. So I always try to check out my region view and see who's around, whether or not it's an alliance member or someone that I can start farming when I get a castle. I try to keep my cabins low in the beginning, since the construction speed doesn't really matter, since I don't have enough resources to keep up. So I only build about 5 in the beginning. I'll go up to, I believe, 10 or 11 for the whole city. And of course, this is all sped up. You can see that it's been 12 minutes in game, but it's been 5 minutes or so of total video recording after all the speeds up. Again, I didn't use LuOpt for my node placements, my resource placements, which you could have done, you can still do. I would recommend it, especially if you're starting out, to kind of get the layout of how everything works and the better placements of your resources, because that's what really counts in the beginning, since there's no dungeons out right now, so I can't even raid with my Vanks at all. They're just kind of sitting there. I do use some items to get up to the different levels of my town hall, trying to get up to level 6 as fast as possible, and then also level 7 so I can get my Sorc Tower going. And here's the special squares that the alpha was based around, was to capture these and then hold them. That was the whole objective. There was also 3 other different rewards that you get: the top unit kills, the top plunderer, which is taking resources away from a player, and then also the most boss hits. Once I have my forester huts built, all 20 of them, I think it was about 20 at this point, I started leveling them up slowly to level 2, and then started building my stone mines up to 20 as well. And again, you don't see that I have any of the city guard posts or any kind of unnecessary buildings, which you shouldn't have. And of course I crash. Happens every once in a while. This is alpha after all, so just refresh and be good to go. So I try to keep enlisting Vanks as much as I can as I get resources in. One of the things that most people forgot to do this alpha that I think was mentioned a lot in chat was, oh, I forgot to check my rewards. So you want to make sure you check your rewards a lot. There's a lot of gold and also resources that you can get from there, especially like building up Vanks. If you build 50 of them, you get so much iron back, so you can build even more. So you want to keep checking them and making sure that you have them all collected as you need them. Eventually you'll have a whole bunch of them that you don't need to use. When you have like a second city, you'll want to use it there, so you have instant resources. So I've used, I think, 3 items so far in about 23 minutes of actual gameplay. Mostly all wood, just to keep my buildings going and trying to get more resources in. You can definitely build a lot more before building your next level. So I'm at Town Hall 5 right now, but you can keep building if you want. It's up to you. That's the whole beauty of this game, is that you have, everyone has their own strategy in this game, and what may work for me may not work for you. You just have to kind of play around and figure it all out. Hopefully this gives you some help on what you should be doing. Like I said in my last video, I'm more military style, so I would definitely be building a lot more barracks than someone who would just place resources and work on that way. And then there's people who just build barracks and training halls or training arenas, stuff like that. Let's see what's going on. So right now there's a couple dungeons that popped up. I keep checking all around, see if there's anything close enough to me so I can start raiding. At this point in this first day, I think it wasn't until day 3 or so that Gordy changed the raid times to 15 minutes. Maybe it was later. Maybe it was Sunday, day after, that he changed the times from an hour to 15 minutes, which definitely helped out. Here I'm talking about my total troops and idle troops, which was easily figured out by the queue that I have going on with all my Vanks. I have 13 of them in queue, and I got confused by the total troops. So I'm going to start waiting around for my resources for the next level of my Basilla. I should be saying Basilla. Hopefully I'm saying that right too. So finally I get a level 1 dungeon that's not too far away, but far enough away. I still send it there since it'll give me something in the meantime. Just because it takes 2 hours to get, well, an hour and a half to get there, and then it'll be another hour and a half. So in 3 hours I'll get 160 resources back. Actually 1,600 since it's 10 times, which isn't good, but it's not bad either. It helps, and that's also gold that I need for later on. So it's definitely useful for raiding. Raiding is definitely useful. You should be doing it, unless you don't want to do any kind of military building in your first city, which is also fine. Here I'm starting to build a couple more cabins, making sure that they're touching at least 3 different resource buildings, whether it's two Forcer huts and a stone mine like up on that top right in the middle. I want to make sure that they're at least touching 2. 3 is better, 5 is so much better. Here I'm waiting for my resources now. I'm going to be speeding that up. I don't want people waiting around for 7 minutes or so for this to finish. So you're going to see a jump from, I think it says 12 minutes, and then it's going to finish. Here I'm just checking around other people, and I see that Rag is near me, which is great, so we can plunder him. But then he doesn't get that city anyways for some reason, some kind of bug. So I don't get to farm him at all. I try to keep my queue up for Vanks, even though I could have just used the defense counselor. I don't know why I did it this way. I should have just used the defense counselor, and I would have never had to worry about having to do that. So I'm refreshing to check on any kind of dungeon updates. Sometimes they will show up, and then sometimes they won't. So I just like to do a refresh every once in a while. As you can see, I jumped from 12 minutes until 4, and now in 15 seconds or so I'll have it built to level 6. I'm going to upgrade all my level 2, or all my stone mines to level 2, and also build the rest of my cabins. I think I had 11 at the end of building them. Again, try to make sure that they're touching at least 2 to 3. Any more is a lot better. And the reason I'm really building that many right now is because I know I'm going to be going for level 7 Ballista, and I don't want to wait an hour or so for it to build. I want to wait 15 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes if I have to. I'm shooting for an hour and 30 minutes of in-game time to have my Sorc Tower level 1, which is pretty good. 2 hours is about normal time if you're speeding around, and then we're right around the 1 hour mark right now, so I'm not doing too bad. I know you can get it done a lot quicker, especially if you use more items to get more resources, but I'd rather wait until I get level 7, because then you shoot up a rank, and instead of getting 5k resources, you get 10k for the same amount of charisma. So you can see some of the resources real quick that I got from the rewards: 1k stone and wood, and then I think it was a couple k of 3k of iron that I can use to build more vanquishers. And I always check around the ranking too, just to see how everyone's doing. Always curious about how people are doing and what rank I am. Nothing special or anything about rank, especially right now. You're going to be going up and down. Like right now I'm rank 25, and you'll see me go down to like rank 90 or so because of just the long building times that I have for level 7 and then Sorc Tower and stuff like that. Don't mind the Excel sheet that just popped up. I have my own Excel sheet that I run for the game that has raid times, or not raid times, but raid troop levels to send to, and I also keep track of each city that I have, what the name is, where it's located, if it's a castle, what kind of troop it is. Since there's no city notes that work right now, it's just something that I do to keep track of everything. And since there was a bug that we couldn't see the names on the cities, I just keep checking around and seeing who's around me, who I can start thinking about attacking, or for a future alliance. And just basically just trying to waste time until I get resources to build level 7. So you'll see the time jump from time to time. Like now it's 105. It's going to jump soon, I'm sure. And it'll go right up to the end where I start building my Sorc Tower, just because I'm not going to make everyone wait 30 minutes for this to build. Even at a sped up time of playing, it's still, I think I cut out about 5 minutes of gameplay of me just sitting here chatting and stuff, so it's pretty boring to see that. Now you could also, if you didn't want to wait so long, or if you wanted to wait a little bit longer, you could speed up your resources by now and go to level 3 on your forester huts. That will definitely help out and give you a boost. I chose to wait and just build level 7 because I wanted to get into the 1 hour and 30 minute mark for having it. So it's always a guessing game. You can see I used another item so I could have the time, or the 15k that I needed. So I'll refresh right at the end, just again checking, see if there's any new spots of dungeons. And I see that someone came right beside me, which is great because I can start farming him, and I want to start building up. And I got my level 1 Sorc Tower building. Should finish up here, and then we'll end the chat and do the next section of getting to a castle. That'll be my next bit. Thanks for watching.